Okay, fine. That's okay. Well, send those up and run over to his house and pick up his.
Okay.
Be right back.
So we'll start Chafresim Biz, about 10 lines down. Itmar. So yesterday we had two subjects, more or less. One was about Niskal Poshe, Niskal La Poshe. If the fact that a person trips or by mistake drops something, if that's considered a negligence or not. So Machlokas of Meir holds Niskal Poshe and Rabbi Yehuda holds Niskal La Poshe. We pass like Rabbi Yehuda. Machlokas was that Mafkir and Zakav Lachan Afilas Oinus, that if he dropped it in a case that was not his fault, you can't blame him for that. But then he was Mafkirid. So again, Rabbi Yehuda, we put into the Mishnah that the Meir holds Chayv and Rabbi Yehuda holds Pater. If he had enough chance to pick it up, if he didn't have enough chance, then the whole nidon is the first point. Why did it drop? There's a Oinus Opshia. But if he had enough time to pick it up, so if he was not Mafkirid, then he surely Chayv. If he was Mafkirid, that was machlokes yesterday. And also we paskin like Rav Yehuda, the Pater B'din the B'chai B'din Shemayim. It was pashut yesterday that mafkin zakav lachan afilas pshia. For sure, we took for granted that it's chaya because it was a pshia, and it's like a bor b'shus rabin. What's the difference if he was mafkirit after the pshia or he was poshea and it was hefker? Means if the bor b'shus rabin is also hefker, it's not yours, and you're high for the fact that you dug a bore. That's called a negligence. So the yesterday we took on that was pashut that mafkin zakav lachan filas pshia is going to be high, but today is not going to be so simple. It is true. Let's give a little akdama that it is true that it's as bad as digging a barn rishus rabim, and that alone the Gemara is going to say is not simple. It's really, really, really a big chiddush. Even the parsha kiyuchesh bor kiftechish bor, everyone pictures that's a barn rishus rabim.
But all bor is Rama.
All boys wrong. But the Torah says that. But the Torah says that boy is chayiv. We have this things about that. If he tripped and then he fell out something else, then maybe it's like a grandma because I only caused him to fall. If he tripped on something, he didn't fall onto it. The other skin of Masah is only going to be if he fell onto the. But the bor, the Torah says chayiv, either chavata or because of heva, whatever you say. But the Torah says you're chayiv and bor, and everybody, I think, when you learn the parsha, you right away think of a bar b'shus harabim. And the Gemara is going to say a big possibility it could be bar b'shus harabim, not chayiv for. And what are you chayiv for? We'll have to figure it out. So that's today's Gemara. Chav Testament base Itmar. Al Mafkir Nizakov. So it doesn't say how did it fall? How did there was it a pshir or an onus? That's the comedic Gemara is going to talk about. But the words alone, Machlokas Amaram, Reb Yochanan, Reb Elazar have Machlokas Chadam Achai, Chadam Pater. We don't know who says what, which one is which. Reb Yochanan, Reb Elazar, who says what, and we don't know what kind of Mafkir was it. What was the case? Was it a pshir? Was it an onus? We don't know. So the Gemara first knows of a machlokes between a mafkin and zakah. We just had in the Mishnah based on Abaya, as Pshat, and Reb Yochanan, and Belazar. Everybody said that there are two machlokes in, and there's a machlokes also about mafkin and zakah, lachan nefilas onus. So probably that's what they're talking about. That this machlokes would be totally in the main rabbanan. The machlokes seems to be a machlokes anon. We know already machlokes about mafkin and zakah, lachan nefilas onus. But the word says no. That's not what they're arguing about. I'll leave it to Rav Meir Kolam Pligi. Rav Meir holds that Mafkin Zakav even Lachan Nefilas Oinus is also Chayiv, so there's nothing to talk about. Rav Meir holds Chayiv. Nobody's going to say Pater according to him. But the Kli Pligi, I'll leave it to Rabbanan. They are all arguing according to Yehuda that talks about Mafkin Zakav is Pater, and the question is going to be: is it even if it was a Pshia? Which yesterday I took for granted yesterday that should be Chayiv. But now the Gemara is saying no, it's possible not. Manda Pater Rabbanan. The one that says Mafkin Zakav. Whoever says Pater, we don't know who that is, but whoever says Pater holds like the Rabbanan, the Yehuda, that Mafkir and the Zakav is Pater. I mean to say, even according to Yehuda, that says Mafkir and the Zakav is Chayiv, had come the Pater Rabbanan, the Mafkir and the Zakav the Hacham, which is the Anasu, because it's a Mafkir and the Zakav Lachan Nefilas Oinus, because he hold Niskal Sheya, Niskala Posheya. So it was an onus that he felt, then he didn't pick it up, and he's mafkirit of mafkin of the alma l'chayvi, which what the Gemara said yesterday. Also, there was a Yochanan on the top of the page that mafkin is that's not what the Gemara came out yesterday. I didn't realize that the Gemara said it yesterday, but the Gemara. So just Moshe missed it because I saw a mitzvah. So we'll recap what we did so far. that is here in the yellow over here. There's a mafkin zakav. That's not so clear what it's talking about. Chokes on wrong. Chayiv potter. And the Gemara first thought it's yesterday's machlokas mafkin zakav lachan nefila sinus. Now the Gemara is going to say no. They're going to Mandam that says mafkin zakav lachan nefila sinus is potter, but maybe mafkin zakav lachan nefila shia is going to be chayiv. So we would have thought, I think for sure, that somebody was posheya. He took a tray of eggs, put it down in the street, and then he said, "I'm a hefker," So for sure, that's making a bor. And that was to say a possibility that there may be a pot around that also. And the truth is, it's no different than making a bor b'shus harabim. Are you chayiv for making a bor b'shus harabim? Everybody would jump up, of course. Yeah. And how the Gemara say it's not so simple. So so far, the Gemara now is saying that this machlokes. So we started today of mafkin zakov is not yesterday's Gemara. Yesterday's Gemara was mafkin zakov after it was an onus. So that falling, you can't blame him, and now you can't blame him for holding on to it because it's not his. He was mafkir it. You can say no, you're not allowed to be mafkir such a thing, even though it was onus that it got placed over there. But now the Gemara is opening up a new subject that we didn't. I think yesterday we didn't dream of it, that it could be mafkin zakov lachak filas pshia is also potter, which is equal to digging a bar in Rishis Harabim. And that's what the Gemara is going to open up a new subject now. Are you chayiv for a bar Rishis Harabim? How could you say differently? Tislan Rabbi Lezu dam b'chayiv. So we have here Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Lezu. We didn't know who else what. So the Gemara wants to be a raya that Rabbi Lezu is the one who says chayiv, because Rabbi Lezu says that a bar Rishis Harabim is chayiv. Dam Rabbi Lezu, famous statement. Mishum Rabbi Yishmael. Shnei dvam einu b'shusa shel adam. V'asan hakasav give him b'shusa. There are two things that don't belong to a man. That's not his, but the pasuk considers it his as far as being liable. What is that? Veiluain. One is bar b'shus harabim, and one is chametz b'shei shor solamala. One is a bar b'shus harabim. It's not yours, but the Torah says you're balabor. Balabor is shalem. What's balabor? You don't own the bar. You dug it bar b'shus harabim, and still called. The Torah considers it yours as far as liabilities for the damage that was done. And chametz after chatzos Pesach is also barna, so it doesn't belong to you. So how could the Torah say? What is the Torah saying when it says that someone's usher for having chametz in his domain? It doesn't belong to him anyway. Even if it's his, even if he has it in his house, it's as if it's not his because he doesn't have any control over it. The fact that it's usher, it's what is it? It's usher bana. So he doesn't have a person that's something usher bana. It doesn't not considered own. What does ownership mean? Ownership means that you have a right to use it and you can get something out of it. But if it's usher bana, it's worthless. And still, the Torah says you're having chametz in your domain is also a case of in a b'shusa or basana kos of kilam b'shusa. That's not a guarantee to us. We can put that in parentheses. But bar b'shus harabim, Rabbi Laza, here's Rabbi Laza. Rabbi Laza is the one who says bar in the name of Rabbi Shmuel. Bar b'shus harabim is chayiv. That means that even though it's not yours, you're chayiv. That's a good raya. So back to like we said, that mafkin is zakov lachan nefilas pshia is mamish the same case as digging a bar in b'shus harabim. And Rabbi Laza says chayiv, so he's going to be chayiv here also. The Gemara is not bothered. How could you say differently? How could you say that bar b'shus harabim is potter? So when does the Torah say bar is chayiv? So it's not going to be so prepared in the Gemara. The Gemara is not going to make a kash out of it. The Gemara understands the only case you're going to be chayiv for a bar is if you did it in your own. You did it in your own rishus. And if you did it in your own rishus, how could you be chayiv for a bar? Why? What are you doing in my bar? Why did you walk in for? The case is going to be that he made it on the border. You made it. There's no fence, and you have your front lawn. And there's a sidewalk, there's a rishus around, people are allowed to walk over there, and you made a bore mamish by the end of your domain, and there's no reason, people, of course, if they stay mamish on the sidewalk, they wouldn't fall, but people, there's no fence over there, so they might fall in. But if it would be in rishus harabim, you really would be potter because it's not yours. So it's a fascinating concept. I think nobody would learn the chumash like that. If a person digs a bore, opens up a bore, and doesn't cover it, and someone falls in, shor b'chamor. So that's what the Gemara is a possibility that bar is only going to be chayiv b'shus hayachid, and the Gemara doesn't even ask it as a kasha. When are you going to say bar? That's what the Gemara. It sees in the Gemara that's what the Gemara understands in the one who argues. But the Gemara found that the Balaza says bar b'shus harabim is chayiv. He's going to hold also that mafkin azakav lachan afilas pshia is chayiv. But the Yochanan is going to hold potter because he holds bar b'shus harabim is potter. That's what the Gemara is understanding the machlokes.
We had a machlokes Rav and Shmuel. It's learned from Bor, which is in Rishus Harabim. And according to Rav, it has to be hefker because
Dafka bar dafka bar. Dafka bar Rishus Harabim. Dafka bar.
We learn everything from Rishus Harabim.
And if he does, and love kavinu, then it makes it maybe it's not a bar, maybe it's a shore then. This Gemara is and this now the Gemara is entertaining a possibility that bor is dafka when you own it. Very nice.
Rav and Shmuel were both assumed that they're sure if it's
right. And now it comes out that, let's say Rabbi Yochanan is the one over here. He's going to say, on the contrary, it's that's the bor. And if he owns it, that's the bor. And if he doesn't own it, maybe you're parting completely. You're right. We should put it together with that. And so there must be all those that they're assuming like this Rabbi Lezer, the bor b'shus Rabbi Mischayev, and that's a bor hefker. And if it's not hefker, then maybe it's not a bor, and you have to come on to bor and shor. It was only a shor, both of them together. Very nice, very nice. You have to put it together over there. It's not a kasha, right? Because you have Rav Shmuel and Yochanan, and everyone's like equal footing. So Yochanan is going to argue it, but they're going to be holding like Rabbi Lezer over here that bor b'shus Rabbi Mischayev. Okay, nice. But what is a contradiction? Because we find some place that Rabbi Lezer seems to say that a bor b'shus Rabim is not chayiv. We just found that Rabbi Lezer, we attributed the mandamba that says bor b'shus Rabim is chayiv, attributed to Rabbi Lezer because he says bor b'shus Rabim is chayiv. But there's a kasha, a steer in Rabbi Lezer. When we have Rabbi Lezer, there's Rabbi Lezer also that a bor b'shus Rabim is chayiv. From Rabbi Lezer, ibcha. Rabbi Lezer says the opposite, that not. Says the Mishnah, and the Mishnah seems pretty simple, but Rabbi Lezer made it complicated, so to speak, and that seems that he holds bor b'shus Rabim is potter. What happened over there? It's a Mishnah coming up in the following page. That's the whole Mishnah. Sagolo is manure, that there was manure in the Rishus Rabim, and somebody they used to use it for fertilizer. So people might have even put it over there intentionally, which you're not allowed to do because someone might trip on it. And people, they would like that people should people should step on it. That's how it gets processed, whatever the purpose however they use it for. So the word hopefully means he turned it over. He turned it over, took a shovel, turned it over. I guess you have to do that in order to get it more trampled on. But whatever the point is, he picked it up and put it down again. What do you say? It was there before. It was hefker. Animals that pass by and they drop a golo. So it's hefker. And somebody came, picked it up and put it down. Is he high for making a bor? It's a bor b'shus Rabim. There's manure in the b'shus Rabim. People could get dirty from it. They can get trip on it. So it says here that he's chayiv. Do we have any problem with that? We should say chayiv. It's a bor b'shus Rabim. It was a bor b'shus Rabim. Right. He picked it up, put it down again. So now it says he made the bor. Right. So he's chayiv. And if you hold that bor b'shus Rabim is chayiv, right, so then the Gemara you wouldn't have to say anything. You could be quiet. The Mishnah says there was a bor, there was a galol, there was toa in the Rishus Rabim. He picked it up and he put it down. So he's high. So he's high for a bor. But Rabbi Lezer, who seemingly is the mandamba that says bor b'shus Rabim is chayiv, he wasn't satisfied with this Mishnah. He's only chayiv if when he picked it up, he had in mind to acquire it. That it became his. What's bothering him? If he holds bor b'shus Rabim is chayiv, you don't have to own the bor. Right. So he didn't own it. But Rabbi Lezer didn't say that. He seems to contradict himself. Here he says only chayiv if you owned it. So when he picked it up and he had in mind to make a kinyan with this picking up, so then he's chayiv. What do you see? Avalonus kavaliskas said ben potter. Why? Amma makun potter. So it seems that Rabbi Lezer holds that if you don't own it, you're potter. That's contradiction in Rabbi Lezer. So the more tries to get out of it. That he didn't move it someplace else. He moved it, put it back to the same place. If he picked it up in one place and moved it a couple of amas, put it down, then he made a bor. The first bor was there. He picked it up, no more bor over there. He put it down over here. He made a new bor. If he would have put it back in the same place, so then he didn't do anything. That's what Rabbi Lezer understood. Rabbi Lezer understood that he picked it up and put it down in the same place. So even though he made the bor, he didn't make the bor because the bor was there the whole time. So therefore, the reason why he's chayiv is only because he acquired it. Now it became his. If he would picked up and put it down, and he did move it, put it in the same place, so he didn't do anything worse than it was before. So it's true that it's a bor. And if he would have made a bor, it's just right. He would have been chayiv. But it was already a bor, so he didn't make it any worse. Therefore, Rabbi Lezer had a difficulty. Why should he be chayiv? So he answered because he acquired it. Now that's his. And the Gemara continues with that. Ravina is coming to support Rabbi. Ravina is not arguing. He's coming to support Rabbi Barabba. He says, "Mashal to Rabbi Barabba l'mad Abadama." What will be a comparable case? The most bor megula v'chiso v'chazav v'gilo. Somebody found the bor that was uncovered. He covered it and he uncovered it. Is he chai for the bor? For the bor? There was a bor. There was already a bor in Rishus Rabim. He covered it. He thought it was a big tzaddik. I mean, he wanted to be a big tzaddik and he covered it. No one asked him to. He's not chai. It's not his. and he covered, then he uncovered it. Is he chayiv?
Yeah, you would think so.
You would think so. So the Gemara doesn't think so. I would have thought like you also.
Yeah.
But the Gemara says not. The Gemara says that's pater. That's pater because it was a bar before and it's still a bar. But
Right.
even though you covered it,
Right. So for that minute,
it was not a bar anymore. So I would have thought like you.
Make a new bar.
Right. I would have thought so. I don't know. The Gemara is going to say in a second another case and see if you understand it. I would have taken your side, but the Gemara doesn't. The Gemara says that case should be pater, and that's what he says. That you took a shovel, you picked up the golo, and you put it down again in the same place. So he says it's the same thing as if there was a bar. What's the difference if it's a bar of excrement or a bar that's a pit? And it was a bar. You stopped the bar by covering the bar or picking up the excrement, and then you made it back to the same position that it was before.
I put my piece of wood there to cover the bar to save the guy who dug the bar. Right. But I'm waiting for him to come back, but he never came back. I need my wood. I'm taking my.
But you made a bar. You say you didn't make a bar.
I did make the bar. I tried to save him for a little while so that his bar shouldn't damage.
So I hear also, but let's go further. And then the Gemara is going to say, in another case, I'm not gonna get the difference. So the Gemara at this point is happy. Ravada Barava and Ravina supporting him. They're happy that the case of the Rabbi Elazar have to say that you acquired it is because you didn't make it worse than it was before because it was a bar and it is a bar. But Marzutru Bedri Abmori is not happy. He says, no, he told Ravina that's not similar. Me dummy. Is that comparable? It's not comparable. In the case of covering the bar is still there. It's a pit. It's still a dug out pit. Just that you covered it up, but it's still there. So over there, I agree that you're putter. We wouldn't have agreed. Moshe didn't agree. Moshe agreed even if it's a bar under the cover, but once you make the cover, it's not dangerous anymore. So you took away the bar. What's the difference if it's still physically there? It's not dangerous. But the more agrees at this point to what I said before, that since the bar was there the whole time, even though you covered it, if you uncover it, you putter, because it was a bar. It was a bar even while you covered it, and it's still a bar. So nothing. It wasn't a the first act was not removed. But in the case that here you picked up the excrement, when you picked it off the floor, it wasn't a bar at all. You put it down again. It's not there. There's no bar. You put it down again. You made a bar. And the Gemara says this will be different. This will be similar. Lo dami, yellow the motzi bar megula, the tamima. Before we had that you covered it. What if you didn't cover it? You stuffed it up. You brought earth and you filled it in. And then then you dug it out a second time. Over there, you are chayiv if you made the bar. Here the Gemara agrees to you that there was a bar, you filled it up, filled it in, and then you dug it out again, then you are chayiv because the bar is gone. Let's say he bought his own, not wood, he bought his own earth, whatever, and he filled it in. So according to Rav Nissan's Svara, it also would have been putter. But the Gemara says no, but there, once you filled it in, it's not a bar. And then you dig it out, it is a bar, so then you are going to be chayiv. So I don't know the difference. I don't understand the Gemara.
I don't understand.
I don't understand.
Once you cover with a piece of wood or whatever.
What's the difference if it's filled in or not? I don't understand. But the Gemara says that the bar is still there. I don't understand. But the Gemara is masking to you.
Because when you fill it with dirt, now taking it off, you're doing a Maisa Chafira.
And now you're doing a Maisa Psicha.
Psicha, but
Kiftach is bar.
But it wasn't really covered. I just put my plank of wood there temporarily. But then nobody's going to fall.
So then you can talk about Tamama also. I put it there temporarily. Almanasin or whatever.
And if you put your earth there in the middle of Rosh Hashanah, you make a big mound of it. You make it go also a bar.
Right. Oh. Right, but I didn't. So why is that?
Rosh Hashanah is not the place to store your sand, your dirt.
No, I was doing a favor to everybody. I filled up the bar temporarily. How come I can stay? I need in the middle of building a house. Okay, I don't know. But the Gemara, so just to say what the Gemara is saying, is that if the bar is gone, mamish, physically, either because you picked up the excrement, so there's no bar on the floor, or because you filled up the bar with earth, so then there's no bar. If you redug it, you are going to be chayiv. And therefore the Gemara is back to Akash again, because Rav Elazar holds that bar b'shas Rav is chayiv. That's what we're assuming, based on this pink over here. Bar b'shas Rav Elazar says it's chayiv, so we're assuming he holds bar b'shas Rav is chayiv. So then it wouldn't make sense. What's his problem? That you picked up the excrement and you put it down again. He doesn't have to say that you acquired it. Even if you didn't acquire it, you should be chayiv because the bar wasn't there. And now it's here again. Must be. It seems that bar b'shas Rabim is butter. That the only time you ever chayiv for a bar is only if you own it. Right. So that's the word. Back to Kasha again. Elam Rabashi. Maybe I didn't translate it. Hold it up. Yeah, the word before he said kiso, but he says tama. Tama means that you stuffed it up and then he dug it out again. That the original bar is gone. It's not kalu ma'aser rishon. It comes his. So that's the kasha that Rabbi Elazar shouldn't have had to explain that the case of the Golol, the case was where he owned it, he acquired it. Even if he didn't, he should be chayiv because he holds that she does a Barbashis Rabbi Chayiv. The case is talking about that he picked it up, but he picked it up less than 3 tvachim high. He picked it up less than 3 tvachim high, so it's still considered a bar.
He didn't take the bar away.
He didn't take the bar away. If he would have picked it up high, said now the bar is clear, the street is clear, and he puts it down again, he made a bar. But even when he picked it up less than 3 tvachim, so it's still considered attached to the ground. It's still a bar. So he never took it away. That's why, but that's not to say, so why chayiv? The bar is still there.
Right.
Because you acquired it. You had a mind to acquire it. But enochanami, if you would have picked it up 1 and 3 tvachim, so then even if you would have not acquired it, you'd be chayiv because you put the bar, you made a bar now. And even if you don't own it, if Allah holds bar, which is Rabbi Chayiv. But then the Gemara says, so who told him that that's the story? It doesn't say anything. It just says, Hopech Hasagola. Why do you have to say Sheshadochak that he didn't pick it up 3 tvachim and he made an acquisition? He could have said that he picked it up 3 tvachim and he's chayiv even if he didn't acquire it. Or my duchke de Belaza look like Kigon Shafcha Bachas Mishlosha, the time with the Chinis Gavin this goes by, Hain was Gavin this goes by low. Why that's all along? What was pushing him? What was pushing up Belaza to say the cases that he picked it up less than 3 tvachim, and the only reason why he's chayiv is because Yaakov wanted to acquire it. But if he wouldn't have had mind to acquire it, he wouldn't be chayiv. Say simple. Look, Mother Mala Mishlosha. If you have forgot the bonus government, this goes b'chayim. He could have said simple that it's talking about they picked it up 1 and 3 tvachim, and the reason why he's chayiv is even if he didn't acquire it, he's chayiv because he made the bar, and even though it's not his, yeah, bar Rishis Rabbim is chayiv. If that's what he holds, if he holds that bar Rishis Rabbim is chayiv, so the Gemara is pushing God, but that doesn't make sense. But that's contradicting himself. Bar Rishis Rabbim is chayiv, and here he only found that it's chayiv in the case where he acquired it. He had a diak in the Mishnah. That's why he was saying that it's less than 3 tvachim, because it doesn't say he picked up the golol. Why does it say hafach has a golol? He should have said, if he meant to say that he picked up 3 tvachim, he should have said gvia as a golol. That means he picked it up. But since it says hafach, some don't have the word shmamina. They have a little different. That the word hafach means less than 3 tvachim. Hafach means he turned it over. He didn't pick it up. So that's why it was bothering him that the word says he didn't pick it up. If he didn't pick it up, so it always was a bor. So it must be that it's chayiv because he acquired it. But if he would have picked it up, then it would have gone. The bar was gone. Put it down again, he's going to be chayiv because Rishis Rabbim is chayiv. So all this was to back up, and we succeeded so far in explaining that Rabbi Elazar does hold, like he says in the name of Rabbi Shmuel, Rishis Rabbim is chayiv. And he had a cash over there why he said that you acquired it when you picked it up, because he saw in the words that it was a bar the whole time, even when you were hopech, it still was a bar. So that's why technically over there we have to say that you acquired it. But Echnami, regular bar B'Shis Rabbim is chayiv, even though you don't own it. And back to our case, I'm not going to zakav lachan filas pshia is also going to be chayiv because you made a bar B'Shis Rabbim by even though it was the filas pshia, yeah, that was in the filas pshia. So it's your negligence, and even if you mafkir, it doesn't help. So far we have that. Now we started off. How do we start off today? There's Machok Sheb Yochanan and if Mafkin is Zakav Lachan Afilas Pshia is Chayiv or not, and Rabbi is the one who says Chayiv because he says Barbashis Rabbim is Chayiv. So process of elimination. If Rabbi is the one who says Chayiv, it must be a Yochanan is the one who says Pater. Comes out a new huge revolution that Rabbi Yochanan holds Barbashis Rabbim is Pater, and we learn the pasuk. If a person dug a bar, open the bar is Chayiv. The case is that it was in his own rishus, and of course not in the middle of his yard, because what are you doing here? How'd you get in? You walk 20 steps and you fell to my bar. You're not supposed to come in. So the case would be that he made it on the border, and people are walking in the street. They go close to the side, and there's a bar, fall in, and then you chayiv. Which is the Gemara doesn't even bother saying what I just said. I just got it from the rest of the Gemara, but the Gemara I would have thought would have asked. So where's bar? But that's what the Gemara understands. The only chayiv a bar which you own. And if it's going to be Abdul Sakina Maso, okay, so you own it. But if it's the Dugabor, it's only going to be Chayiv in your Rishus when you're next to the border. And that's where the Gemara starts now. According to this pshat that you prove Rabbi Elazar holds Barbashis Rabbim is Chayiv, so the one who says Potter over here by Mafkin Zakav Lachan Afilas Pshia must be Rabbi Yochanan. But now we're going to try analyzing Rabbi Yochanan. Is that what Rabbi Yochanan holds? If you find that Rabbi Yochanan holds that a bar b'shis Rabbim is Potter, and we have Rabbi Yochanan Hachi, but now Mishnah coming up, as a coats, as a schuchis. If somebody was he had the thorns, or he had glass, broken glass, and he wanted to keep it out of danger. So he hid it, means he put it on the ground, something like that. But somehow it got uncovered. The Gidro coats him, and somebody made a thorn bush kind of thing. He made a gader with thorns. He wanted to keep people out, but it's dangerous. He put thorns right by the bushes around him. The gather should not follow just around him. He had a fence that fell down. The gather is going to be probably a wall fence, whatever the case was, a wall, and it fell into just around him. So he's responsible. This is all cases of war. Who's like Benacher Chayiv? Somebody got Chayiv Nisko. Somebody got damaged. He's Chayiv. It sounds pretty simple that he put the coats in the Rischuchis. He put it in a place where it could get uncovered again, even though he covered it up. Matzniya, he covered. How did he cover it up exactly? I don't know. I said he put it in the ground. We'll see soon. Maybe it doesn't mean they put it in the ground. I know a story that somebody put glass in the garbage, and then the garbage man got hurt, and they sued him.
Are you kidding me?
There wasn't he didn't put it into a can, whatever. They put it into a bag or something, and the garbage man didn't know, and he got sued because of it. So that's even in the garbage room.
When I have broken glass, I take it to the dumpster.
Not even in the regular green.
No.
Why? Because
they take it out. They take it.
they take it up. They don't. They take it up by hand. This story I'm talking about was in America, but he's saying here that
they're not smart.
So you have to take care of all these things. So he didn't do it in a good way. He took care of his thorns and glass in a way that it could still damage. So he made a bore, or go to Gidro B'Kotzin. He made a thorn bush that is his fence, and people got damaged by it, or the wall fell into Rishus Rabbim and he didn't take care of it. So all these cases, he's chayiv. But Rabbi Yochanan wasn't happy with that. Rabbi Yochanan was wondering, why is he chayiv for the thorn bush? He's only chayiv for the thorn bush that he made, only if it's flying into Rishus Rabbim. Means that it's extending into Rishus Rabbim. Something's growing, and he didn't. What is that? Protruding. But we had the word mafriach. What did we say about the word mafriach recently? We had the word. Right. So we said over there that does mean flying. It means something about spreading like porech, like I forgot where we had this. We worked on this word a little bit. Maybe by the sitter. I forgot where we had it. Maybe with Pinchas. I don't remember. We did talk about it. The word porech. That balona porech. I thought it means flying. It doesn't. It means when something opens up, like the girls have the dresses that are porech, that it opens up. That's called. So that's mafriach. Mafriach, that he's letting it fly into, extend into Rosh Hashanah. Then you have a thorn bush that's extending into Rosh Hashanah. That's Yechayiv for. Aval b'mitzam, it belongs to you, and it's in Rosh Hashanah. Like putting in avlos kina mason Rosh Hashanah. Aval b'mitzam saying pater. If it was mitzam, if it was exact. What's the nice word for mitzam saying? That it was contained. If it was contained means on his property. He has a thorn bush, but it's on his property, and it doesn't extend into Rosh Hashanah. He's pater. So really, the Gemara here takes for granted that we know that if you hold Rosh Hashanah is pater, so you only chayiv for bar in your rishus, which means on the border. Here's where the Gemara is hinting to us that the case of bar is going to be chayiv, is going to be on the border, that it's in your rishus, and even though it's in your rishus, you're chayiv. But here, Rabbi Yochanan says that the thorn bush, which is in your rishus, you're chayiv for, you're pater for. He says only chayiv for a thorn bush, which is extending into rishus around me. If it's mamish on the gvul, you see the line. This is my property, and my thorn bush is on my property, even though it's mamish flush to the Rishus Rabbim. You tell him, why did you come close onto my property? So my time of potter, how come you potter? Because it's in my property. You shouldn't have gotten hurt from it. So that's the machlantach with the bar Rishus Rabbim. It must be that bar, when it's bar, yes, chayiv in Rishus Rabbim. It means the Gemara's cheshbon is like this. Bar has to be chayiv someplace. The Torah says, and you say, if you put in Rishus Rabbim, it must be that you chayiv in Rishus Hayachid. In the case we put it on the border. Of course, it's not chayiv when you put it in the middle of your rishus. But the only two choices are going to be either rishus Rabbim or on the border inside your rishus. If Rabbi Yochanan says that you're putter if it's on your rishus because it's in my rishus, you shouldn't have leaned onto my bushes. So he says he's going to say also that a bor on the floor is also not going to be chayiv. So he holds bor rishus Rabbim is putter, bor in your rishus is also putter. So there's no bor. So Gemara is learning out if the fact that he says that bor in your rishus is putter, it must be that bar Rishus Rabbim is yes chayiv. You could hold, it is theoretically, somebody could hold both of them are high. Somebody could hold that Bar Bishas Rabbim is high, and Bar and Yorishas also is high, could be. But you can't say everything is potter because the Torah says something is high. So that's the most kasha. Alma Mafkin is Zakav Chayiv. So Rabbi Yochanan must hold that when a Bar is Bishas Rabbim, you are high, because he says here Bar Bishas Yachid is potter. It must be that Bar Bishas. So that's the kasha now. Rabbi Yochanan before, Rabbi Lazar said Chayiv. Everything is built on this one thing. Rabbi Lazar said Bar Bishas Rabbim is Chayiv. And must be Rabbi Yochanan argues because there's machlokas over there up there. Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Lazar, he must be the one that says pater, and it comes out Bar Bishas Rabbim is pater. But Rabbi Yochanan says that Bar Bishas Yachid is pater. How could everything be pater? Lo, that's not the pshat. Lo l'mem l'cham mafkin zakul pater. Rabbi Yochanan knows that Bar Bishas Rabbim is pater. So when is the Bar Chayiv? In Bishas Yachid. So how come over here the thorn bush, which is not extending, it's contained in his own Bishas, why is he Chayiv? Some say my time of putter. Because people, when they walk in the street, they don't brush against the wall. That's not normal. Means the Gemara is differentiating between a bar b'shusa. You have something in your domain, plus to the b'shusa rabbim. It depends what it is. If it's a bar, there's no fence and there's a bar. So then there's not a time on the people that they fell in. They're going on the sidewalk, and there's a bar right next to it. So it's true. They're supposed to cross the line, but people are not like that. They don't go dafka on the line. They go close to the edge, and if there's a board, it might fall in. So you're high for that kind of a board. But a wall, that's a different kind of a board. The board that's full of the wall that has thorns. People, when they walk, a normal person doesn't walk flush to the wall. He takes a couple of inches away. He moves away 10 centimeters. That's the normal way of walking. So that's why it's put there. So it was differentiating between a board versus yachid, a board in your own domain, depends if it's a pit or if it's a wall. If it's a pit, people might fall in, you're chayiv. But if it's a wall, people don't go so close to the wall. So you're potter. You don't have to expect that they're going to brush against the thorns. So the Gemara is happy so far. Rabbi Lazar is the one who says Bar B'Shus Rabbim is chayiv, and Rabbi Yochanan says Bar B'Shus Rabbim is potter. When is he chayiv? Only Bar B'Shus Yachid. Kotzim is potter even over there. Still the Gemara is not happy. This is going to be a knockout. Rabbi Yochanan holds Bar B'Shus Rabbim is potter. He didn't really say, he just said Allah Kistam Mishnah. Sometimes the Gemara finds a machlokis. Rabbi Yochanan has Allah Kistam Mishnah. Here the Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan says Allah Kistam Mishnah. So if you find Kistam Mishnah means a Mishnah without any name, no machlokis. So if there's a Kistam Mishnah, Rabbi Yochanan is going to hold like it. And it says, a Kistam Mishnah says that a Bar B'Shus Rabbim is chayiv. So Rabbi Yochanan is going to hold like that. So how can you say that Rabbi Yochanan holds Bar B'Shus Rabbim is chayiv? So here the Gemara changes, here everything changes over. Till now we said, Rabbi Lazar is the one who says Bar B'Shus Rabbim is chayiv, and Rabbi Yochanan is the one who says Bar B'Shus Rabbim is potter. And now the Gemara changes them around. Rabbi Yochanan holds Bar B'Shus Rabbim is chayiv, and Rabbi Yochanan is chayiv. Rabbi Lazar is the one who says Bar B'Shus Rabbim is potter. But the kasha was we had a raya. Rabbi Lazar holds Bar B'Shus Rabbim is chayiv because he says Bar B'Shus Rabbim is chayiv, and the things that Shnei the Bar Shas and Akasav. And the answer of Rabbi Lazar, top of the page, Mishum Rabbi Shmuel, that Shnei the Bar. Hashem made the Torah made that a skilu b'shusa. Bar B'Shus Rabbim is chayiv. Lo kasha hadidei Rabbi. That's what Rabbi Shmuel says. He only said the name of Rabbi Shmuel. He himself doesn't know like that. He also Bar B'Shus Rabbim is potter. That they only chayiv for a bar you own in your rishus. But Rabbi Shmuel holds like Bar B'Shus Rabbim is chayiv, and Rabbi Yochanan holds like that. So comes out end of the day. So, I mean, continuing new sugya, but the end of this whole sugya was one point. Is that when the Torah says bar, it's an amazing thing. When the Torah says bar is chayiv. What is it talking about? Is it talking about Rishus Rabbim? Or is it talking about no, Bar B'Shus Rabbim is potter? It doesn't belong to you. The Torah is talking about Bar B'Shus Yachid. Bar B'Shus Yachid, how do you get there? Why do you come into my Rishus? Because it was right on the border. If it will be a wall, you're right. People don't go so next to a wall, and you wouldn't be potter for that. But if it's a ditch, a pit, so then people do go close to the end of the sidewalk, and they might fall in, and that's what you're chayiv for. You paskin that Bar B'Shus Rabbim is chayiv. Bar B'Shus Rabbim is chayiv. And Bar B'Shus Yachid, maybe he's also chayiv. I don't know.
It depends if it's on the corner.
Yeah, it's on the corner. Yeah. But it could be like it could be you could hold both of them chayiv.
Right.
The thing about the wall, about the thorn bush, that could be. Everybody agrees that even if people don't go close to the wall, even if you hold Bar B'Shus Rabbim is chayiv, it could be that the wall is butter. So
the thorn bush goes right on, but it goes over into Rishus Rabbim.
then you're chayiv. Then surely you're chayiv. Yeah. But if it's flush, you take so whatever they call those things that you cut the bushes with.
Sure.
a hedge trimmer. So then if you're on the line, everything's good, even though a person says, what do you want? Still, excuse me. I'm sorry. Hello?
Had strong legs and a few more. And that said why okay. And I thought, yes. I was on John Street, I bought a bagel, and I told the guy, he says, you want anything on the bagel? I said, no, just plain bagel, I want to go home and put on peanut butter. He says, you're just like me. He says, I love peanut butter.
Which peanut butter you get?
Skippy.
Oh, sure. You get it from Ocean?
Usually, but we ran out, so I had to get from Sammy.
Salmon is expensive.
But on peanut butter, it's not that much of a difference. Quite. Some items are great. Some are very close. English. Osha has the big skippies.
Yeah, 34.90.
That's bad. That's what we get. We get a small one for 20. When we go to Osha, that's what we use.
Yeah.
And that goes us for 6 months.
Oh no, that doesn't last so long.
No, you like
No,
it. You like it.
I love it.
No, you
Me,
don't.
me, no.
You don't. I threw a box of cereal up in the closet. So I was going to give it back to Sammy. So I said, nobody's eating them. I go to kids didn't like them. Then I was to expire 4 months.
That's still good.
So I took the box off. I thought the box so none of the kids could see it. So, well, because they wouldn't eat it.
And you're reading it? Or the kids are reading it?
Yeah, well, you know, so, yeah. Because again, now that we have it, I couldn't get back to Sammy. I thought if I had a good day, he would switch it for me. I guess it was setting up there a long time.
You did smart. That's what I would do also.
Right?
Except no, I don't have to. I don't have to throw the box in. Oh, my kids believe you didn't know what's for.
Well, my wife would notice it. Then she would say, what? And then she gets crazy. It's an old date and goodbye in the garden.
I trained my family. I'm not afraid of expiration dates.
To me, if you don't open it up, it's okay. Because, yeah, stuff like Sammy, sells a lot of times. He buys something and it's the next month it's expired and he gives you a really good price. So I buy it. I said, why not?
Usually it's good.
Oh.
So all conversations.
So this is the story. I said, it's a couple, maybe a year, maybe in 2 years. My wife bought a ring.
We recorded.
Oh, okay. And a couple months later, the diamond fell out. I'm lucky she we went back and they put it back in again. Of course, they didn't charge us because it's not supposed to fall out. And then it fell out a second time. And I was a little lucky again. So I found it and they put it in. So when I got it back a couple months ago, my wife said, it doesn't look right. And then they said, no, we made a tie with them. I said, it doesn't even look like the way they put it in. Anyway, so my wife now, a week or 2 weeks ago, she walks in and it's gone. And now it's gone. I call up the lady. Now, what do you think? Is she responsible? This person I bought it from, and there's 3 times that it fell out. So evidently,
They're not doing it right.
they're not doing it. So anyway, So we're going tomorrow. Tomorrow says, I don't even want the string anymore. She says, it's like a bad luck me. And she said, I want to give it back to them and get some kind of credit. I said, I think that's fair. So let's see. So I have to take a trip tomorrow to Beit Shemesh. Say they used to be invited for God in her house, but I guess business wasn't so good. So she opened up somewhere in Beit Shemesh. And we have to stop to Beit Shemesh. So she says, no, could come to Beit Shemesh. She says, that's where I'm a nice selection. I said, okay. So we'll see. My wife is right. She says, how many times can it fall out already? And she doesn't want them to fix it again. Just give it back. And, yeah, I'm sure not going to give us all our money back, but give us whatever. So we'll see. She's a smart lady because, we get pretty good customers there. I've been good customers. My wife told me I bought her original ring there when we got married. But that fell out. That was a real diamond. This one is fake. But I bought a real diamond, but we had it insured. And then it fell out. And the insurance company paid us like $3,000.
The same place?
Yeah, it was the same place. Exactly. My wife said the same place. She said that was hard. But at least the first time, we did good. I needed the money anyway. So we worked out very good at the time. That time, but I really needed a 10,000 check. You're right. You're about it. Right. The same place. We went there. She was a hard elf.
I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, I said that I had a telephone appointment with my mother's doctor, so he calls back, and that's the way to do appointments now.
Calls back when it's good for him.
Okay, Bez Hashem, everything should be good. So that was the end of that sugya about Bar B'Shus Harabim, and we hold Bar B'Shus Harabim is chayiv. And I don't know what because Bar B'Shus Hayachid we can hold both of them chayiv. It's not a contradiction. If you can hold both of them a potter, but you could hold both of them chayiv. I don't know. And even so, the mischach in Darvish Habanat mischach Pixolim. So therefore, he is potter if he used the hedge trimmer to make it flush, and then people don't rub against such walls. And if they did, they're not going to get reimbursed.
Oh, the guy invites you to his house, and you walk in the
driveway. Yeah, and then there's a bar over there. Yeah.
Well, literally, you break the leg.
Yeah.
Then boy, you get a good lawyer.
Yeah. New Mishnah. Someone spilled water into Rishus Harabim, and somebody got damaged, so then it's high for the damages. This happens very much. People throw water into the Rishus Harabim. They're doing sponge and stuff like that. And some of the gutters also, that's how they're made. They go into the Rishus Harabim. Somebody slips, especially on Rehov Orachaim. You have a big incline over there. You're not running.
I have the air conditioners. Everybody has their thing flying.
And it's going onto the street. It goes onto the street.
Going on the street.
So that's a big problem. That's a problem. So are you allowed to do it? So that's the question. Because I think that's not so simple. That I think you have to be careful that it should be whatever channeled to the side, whatever. It shouldn't go on the street. Big problem. I think. I have to take care of it myself. But you have to be careful. You can't put
the streets in Yerushalayim are made with a channel in the middle.
Right, that it goes into the middle. So if it does, but in the Rova with all the stones and dangerous slippery stones.
Air conditioners just hangs from the wall, so it's not even close to the middle. So it's on the side.
Okay. So here's now the whole really the sugi was before the Gemara spoke about this by Huchlak Ma'am. The Mishnah before spoke about Huchlak, and there was a big problem over there that Rav said that you're not going to be high for the chavata, you're not high for the bang. So you're high for the water. The water, what is that? How does water damage? It's only going to damage the clothing, butter on clothing. So he's going to say that lo afkarinu, and therefore it's chayiv on kelim also. So all this is going to be in this mission also. Same. And Shmuel is going to say you are chayiv for the chavata, and the reason why you're chayiv for shofak mayim is because he slipped and he got a bang. So and the person, you don't have to talk about the kelim. New Mishnah. Hamasnias akos v'saschuchis. We had this a couple of minutes ago. Hamasnias akos v'saschuchis. Or go to get the gidro big coats him, or get the shenafal Rishus Harabim vusko ben achem chayiv beniskan. Somebody put his thorns or his glass in a place that it could be mazik, or somebody made a thorn bush. We just finished talking about that. Either there's mafriach, it was extending into the Rishus Harabim, or a wall that fell into Rishus Harabim and he's responsible for it. All these cases is chayiv beniskan. Amarav. This is what we had before also. Lo shana v'lo dinit tefu kela b'mayim. Avol hu atzmo poter kak olam muzikata. Rav Hashem is before. The other Mishnah about slipping in water, only that the begadim became dirty with the water, but he himself that fell, he'd be putter because he didn't get dirt from hurt from the water. He got hurt from the bank, and he's putter on the bank. Rav holds Shmuel holds Chayiv on the bank. He holds like Shmuel holds. Only Rav Huna leRav yeah look Rav Huna understood that when someone spills water into the Rishus Harabim, it mixes with the earth and it becomes mud, and then it is called his. The same way the water is his. That's not called the karka olam. If he just slipped on the water and then he fell onto the bank of the sidewalk, so then it's not his sidewalk. It's only his water, and Rav holds he wouldn't be chayiv because it's karka olam. But if the water mixed, the water which is his personal water, it mixed with the earth and it became mud, and that's how he fell onto that. It's not called. It is just called his karka, and therefore, what's the problem? You should be chayiv for getting the bank because it is your karka. So that was Rav Huna's kasha to Rav, and Rav answered.
But in our cases, in the old city, like you're saying, sponging has the soap, and then they
slip,
and then you slip on the soap.
But no, you slipped on the soap, but you didn't get hurt from the soap. You got hurt from the rocks.
Right.
So Rav will say potter because it's not your stone. It's a huge chiddush. Rav holds you not chayiv. The stone was there the whole time. You didn't do anything. You just were It's like Shmuel that you are chayiv.
So somebody in the rover would fall. Right. Somebody's
slipping with water. He would be chayiv. Would be chayiv. And but Rav holds not. And Rav, the boys asked, even according to Rav, if the water mixed with the earth and became a mud, then it is your mud, and you are chayiv. Rav told him, "Misavris the lo tamu maya, but the tamu maya." There was not. I don't get the words exactly, but the point is the case is not that the water got absorbed into the earth and it became mud. Then you're right. Even if he got hurt himself, I might agree to you. But the case is, Rav understood the case is that it's just the water is separate from the earth and it just slipped on the water and the earth didn't become mud. The words tamu maya, the water is finished. But the tamu maya means the water did not get absorbed. You think there's so much that the water got absorbed? The water didn't get absorbed. But that's how it fits the words. I don't know. And then the Moshe says Tati Lamali. Tati Lamali goes back to the two Mishnayos. This Rashi says the Mishnah before about Huchlak Nishbur Kado. Where's the Rashi? The Tati Lamali before it said about Nishbur Kado B'Shisharam Huchlak Yahabayim. And Rabbi, they all said it's all the same thing. Why do you have to have two Mishnayos with the same thing? One is in the winter, one is in the summer, and that's going to start right away. That you're allowed. Sometimes you're allowed to put water. That's going to be a study coming up. We could talk about a board that you're not allowed to make. We could talk about a board that you are allowed to make. But even though you're allowed to make it, but it's at your own risk, you still might be chayiv for damages. And that's what it says. In the Mosacham, you're not allowed to spill water into the street, because there's no water and it's clean. And you're making a board in the winter where there's water anyway and there's mud. You are allowed to let your gutter run into the Rishus Harabim, but still you might be chayiv to pay. Kalelu Shamru, Poskin people are saying, V'Gofrim was saying, those people that it says that you're allowed to do it, you're allowed to open up. Poskin is like Poskin. You're allowed to open up your biv. The biv is your sewage, your gutter. And Gofrim was saying, I'm not sure what that means, but you're allowed to clean out also something about water. So b'mosacham ein lemishus. B'mosacham yesh lemishus. When he said that you're allowed to, that's only the winter. In the summer you're not allowed to because the streets are clean. But even though you're allowed to do it, but if you're damaged, then you're going to have to pay. Just this difference how you're allowed to, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to damage and then say I'll pay for it. I'll let my shore do Karen Chain and regular, then I'll pay. You're not allowed to do that. There's Issa to be masik and then there's a payment. Here it says that even though you're allowed to do it, but still you have to pay. That's why I said 2 times about spitting out your water. It could be allowed to spill out your water. Before we talk about you're not allowed to spill out your water. Even if you're allowed to spill out your water, but if it damages, you'll have to pay. It'll be sugi coming up soon. The Mishnah continued on Masniya Sakot, which we had this sugi 2 minutes ago. That the issue, the payment, the making a board because your hedges, your thorn bush was mazik is only if it was protruding into the Rishus Harabim, but if it was flush and you trimmed it, so then you're potter. And that was a more thought before because he holds that board Rishus Yachid is potter. But the more said no, even if your board Rishus Yachid is chayiv, but people don't go next to the wall. That's what the Gemara says here. My time of potter, because people don't go up against the wall. So even though they do go to the end of the sidewalk, and if there's a wall over there, they might fall in, and you are high for that. But if it's a wall that has thorns, people don't go so close to the thorns, so therefore you're part. Point everybody. Somebody had glass or thorns, he put it into somebody else's wall, not his own wall. He put it into somebody else's wall, there's a crack in the wall, a little hole. He figured it's a nice place to store, then it should be safe. So he put it over there. But then eventually the owner of the wall took down his wall. Well, maybe it could be a year later. I don't know how long it was. Later on, he took down the wall, and the glass and the thorns fell into Rosh Hashanah. But not for Rosh Hashanah, but Ezekiel, who's Chayiv?
Gotta put it in there.
Gotta put it in. Chayiv HaMatzniyah. And the Gemara is going to be impressed about that soon. But before we continue, parentheses, it's only if it was a weak wall, which the person who put in the thorn should have realized that this wall is going to come down. But if it's a strong wall, and then the Baal HaKosel decided to take it down, the Baal HaKotzim didn't have to think about that. And therefore the Baal HaKosel is responsible to make sure, when he takes down the wall, to make sure that there's no Kotzim and glass coming out. But the more goes back to the main point where it said, whatever the case is, the coastal ruas, and then the Baal Matzniya, the one who put the thorns over, he's the one who's chayiv. Ravina is also meres hamachasa boro b'doli shalchaveru. Ubal Baal leave, not doli. What would be the case that somebody had a bore and he covered it with somebody else's wood? He took somebody else's wood. There, the word li, li, I guess means a bucket, right? Doli, it means it's li. I didn't look in Rashi over here. I guess it li is okay, kisui bor. Okay, maybe the word li means a bucket, but as far as our issue is that he took somebody else's object to cover his own bore. I took somebody else's thing to cover my bore, and then the owner of the thing came. The owner of the piece of wood came. He took it away. Who's chayiv?
The guy, not the guy that put the wood, the first guy.
The bore, the bala bore, the one who dug the bore. That's what you see. How come? Because the same thing that the person who put the bore, he put his kotzim into as if he took care of his bore by putting it in somebody else's wall. He still has responsibility to make sure that it doesn't get uncovered.
Right.
So same thing. Not the case of the coastal bor, the case of the coastal rua, because he's supposed to expect that the bottle of tea is going to come and take his leave. Chai balabor pshita. What's the chiddush? That's the same case, mamish. We see it. There's a chiddush. You might think by the case of the wall, when the guy is taking down his wall, he sees their thorns over there. He doesn't know who it is. He doesn't know who thorns it is, so he doesn't know who to notify. So that's why. That's why the matzniya is chayiv, because no one's going to know how to know. No one's going to know to notify me. I put in my thorns or my broken glass in somebody else's wall. I know when he's going to end it's a shaky wall, and I know that when the Bala Kostel is going to take down his wall, he's not going to know who to notify. So I am responsible to make sure that I'm always in the type of situation that I should it shouldn't fall into the stream. But by the case of the Dli, the person who's taking the lead knows whose bore it is.
So you should tell him.
So maybe he's going to tell him. So the Bala Bor might have assumed that when he's going to take off his lead, he's going to come tell me. Kamashma, he doesn't have to come tell you. Or even if he did, you're responsible. Maybe since he knows who it is, he should have told him. If he didn't tell him, so the whole responsibility is the Bala Li. Kamashma, the responsibility is still on the Bala Bor. Now the Chasidus, Tana Rabbanan, Chasidim Arishonim, how you must name Kotzasem, Uschuchi Yosem, the Sochs Dosem, Uhamikam Lam Gimel Tvachim, Kadesh Yakib Lamachresha. The former Chasidim, they used to be very careful not to be mazik, and when they had thorns or glass to take care of, they would go to the what is it called over there? The dumpster, to make sure nobody gets. They don't put it in a place where they could get damage. So in those days, what they did, they go into the field and they would dig 3 tvachim deep, that the machresha, the plow, shouldn't plow it up, and the word zakiv machresha means shouldn't block the machresha. I think the problem is other way, that the machresha is going to dig it up, and it's going to come to the surface again. Someone's going to get hurt from the glass. So they would put it in a way that it's going to be definitely safe. So that's a chasidus to make sure that you shouldn't come to be mazik in any way. That's considered like a real safe mamash out of to be machmer more than you might have to. So if someone takes glass and puts it in a place that could get uncovered or somebody could be damaged from it, so sometimes they'll be chayiv, sometimes they'll be potter, but it's not a chasidus. A chasidus is to go all the way out to make sure you never come to damage. Rav Sheshes shadilu benura, Rav shadilu bediglas. Rav Sheshes used to put the glass or the thorns, I guess, into fire. He would burn them in order to make sure no one's going to have damage. Rav would put it into the diglas, which is the river, the Tigris. Rav lived on the other side. You see a lot of times, just to notice, Rav lived on, I don't know what the Ikar Yishuv seemed to be between the two rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris, and Rav was the Rav of Mechuzah, which was on the other side of the Tigris already. And many times you come Rav and the Chidekel, it comes up, the Chidekel is a diglas. So just to notice that Rava was a little bit in a community which was not the regular community, on the other side of the Tigris. And Rav Nisli puts it in the dumpster. Rav Sheshes, Rava, whatever the modern the modern application is. Take care of all your mazikim that it shouldn't be mazik. I'm of you, the famous Gemara. Someone wants to be a chassid, he should be careful not to be mazik. So of course, no one's not to be mazik. So the Chorah, it means, like the Gemara said here, to be extra careful not to be mazik, even in a case where it's enough of protected, to be extra careful not to be mazik. Rabbi Amar, Midid Abbas. Person wants to be a chassid, should become things in Pirkei Avos, of Maseches Avos. I think maybe, I think I got it wrong. You have a Zikin, Avos, and Brachas. I think it all means like Seder Zikin, not the like Avos. Avos that means Maseches Avos, and Brachas means probably Maseches Brachas. Probably, or not. That means Avos for sure means Maseches Avos. That's for sure. So the other ones, I'm just questioning: does it mean Masechta? Does it mean the issue of Zikin, the issue of Brachas? For sure, it has to be some kind of a Chassidus that's beyond the law. If it's the law, then everyone has to do it. So to be extra careful in the Zikin, to be now Maseches Avos is a question because all Maseches Avos, is it halacha? Is it like minimum, or is it different Chassidus? It could be the whole Maseches Avos is different Chassidus. So then it says, look over there to find what Chassidus is. And the last one is really the brachas. Of course, you have to, but maybe it could be extra brachas. Not a bracha of batala, not an extra, but like a person should be thanking Hashem the whole day. Maybe. What time do we have? Yeah, we have more time. A person, now here, there's an extra point in the next Mishnah that sometimes a person has some motivation to make them to damage. And not that he wants to damage people, but the reason why he put things in Rosh Hashanah. Usually there's no incentive, there's no real reason people should make a bar in Rosh Hashanah, but sometimes there's a real desire. And here the case is to put Tevin and Kash. We had the point about Golol. Tevin and Kash, you have to get it trampled on to make it into compost. That it should get, what's the word? Decomposed. So people will take their straw and hay and put it into Rosh Hashanah, and all it should be to turn into Zevel, this Volim. So here Chazal were concerned that they have to make it the turn. It's not enough they should be chayiv if he damages, because people have a big drive to do that because they want to get compost, they want to get decayed stuff. So they put it into Rosh Hashanah,
and then they come back and then
they will take it again, right? But while that's there, it could be bad, it's slippery. So who's a chayiv in this go? Okay, so far we know that's the bar Rosh Hashanah. We're not allowed to do it, and if it's damages, it's chayiv. Even if you're allowed to do it, it could be going to be chayiv damages. But here it says the extra thing. First come, first serve. If you see somebody put it, even before damages, you're allowed to take it. It's hefker. Chazal will mafker the kash and tevin. If someone put a suitcase in which is around him, it's not hefker. You're not allowed to take it. He's chayiv if it damages. Maybe you're allowed to put it to the side that it shouldn't damage. If somebody else put a suitcase, or someone put an avnus kinema, so you're allowed to put it to the side, but you're not allowed to take it home. But here they made a special knas that since people have a desire, an interest, the word is interest. He has an interest to put it in the Rosh Hashanah, so Chazal had to deter him. So they said, not only are going to be chayiv if it damages, but you're going to lose it because people are going to come take it. There's a next Mishnah, they say that it's not really supposed to be here. Maybe it's going to be a Bryce and the Gemara and Ahmed Beis. So maybe we'll skip it now, and we'll come back when the Gemara says that that's where it's supposed to be. I think that's what the Gerso say. Next Mishnah, because this we had already this morning, that if somebody turned over excrement, manure that was in Rosh Hashanah, and somebody else got damaged, he's chayiv, even though it was there before. It was hefker, so we had two pshatim. One is
he didn't pick it up
because he picked it up, and if he picked it up 3 tvachim and he put it down again, then it's a regular bar Rosh Hashanah, and it'll be telling him machlokes if your bar Rosh Hashanah is chayiv in it. We hold bar Rosh Hashanah is chayiv, so he'd be chayiv. But if you didn't pick it up 3 tvachim, because the word hofek sounds like that, so then you didn't do anything because it was a bar the whole time. It never stopped being a bar. So then you only be chayiv if you had intention to acquire it. We had some other things over there in the discussion. We spoke about if somebody didn't take away the bar completely, he just covered the bar. Right. So we said that you put it over there, even though you covered it and uncovered it. So we don't understand. I don't understand. Moshe didn't understand that. And Avnis had a pshat that's going to be even if you stuffed it. But that the Gemara said a chiluk. If you stuffed up the bar or you picked up the bar, you picked up this excrement and there's no bar, you put it back in your chayiv. If bar b'shis rab is chayiv, and that's how you pass it. But if you had a bar that you covered and you uncovered it, you put it because the bar was there the whole time. And I don't understand that. Leima masnisim the lokab yuda. The Mishnah says that if somebody's kash and tevin damaged, He's chayiv, and also anybody can take it. Salem Mesisan Lok Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya Rabbi Yehuda Omer, B'shas Atzas Valam, Adam Motzi Zevelo L'Shus Rabbim, V'Sobro Kol Shloshim Yom, Kedei Sheyehei, Nisha B'Ragla Adam B'Ragla Behema, Shalmanas Ken Hilchon Yeshua Soros. Rabbi Yehuda says that you're allowed to put out your kash and teven into Rishus Rabbim. You're allowed to do it. It says B'shas Atzas Valam. So I don't know when that is. I guess certain season during the year. I don't know when that is. Anybody? B'shas, it's a certain season that they used to take out things into Atzas Valam. Does Rashi say anything? No, I don't know. I don't know what Shas Atzas Valam means, but there's a certain time that people will take out their zevel, their fertilized into Rishus Rabbim. So a person is allowed to leave it there for 30 days in order that it should get stamped on from the feet of people and animals that are passing by. Why? I allowed to make more Rishus Rabbim because Yeshua made such a tanai. Yeshua, when he gave out Eretz Yisrael, so he made a tanai for the Takanas Rabbim that people needed. So everybody's allowed to put their zevel in Rishus Rabbim to get trampled on. So you're allowed to do it. If you're allowed to do it, why should you be chayiv to pay? The answer is Afilu Taim Rabbi Yehuda. Mod Rabbi Yehuda Shem Hizik Mishal Mashisik. Even though he says you're allowed to do it, but doesn't mean you're not going to be patur if it pays. They let you do it. You're allowed to do it, but it's at your own risk. And if it does damage, you would be chayiv to pay. I just have one point that I don't understand because the Mishnah still is against Rabbi Yehuda because it says Kala Kodem Ben Zacha that whoever comes is allowed to take it. If I'm asking Nilchon Yeshua Saaretz, so the Chor for sure no one's allowed to take it. That was the point that you're allowed to leave it in Rishus Rabbim. People shouldn't be makbid. So I didn't understand. I didn't see the Meforshim. I didn't learn it well today. But the Mishnah L'chor can't be like a Rabbi Yehuda. It says you're allowed to do it. And the Mishnah says the Kol Kodem Ben Zacha. So Gemara says that even though he's allowed to do it, he's still chayiv if it damages. But it says in a different Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda holds that when it's Rishus, then you put if it damages. So you see, if Rabbi Yehuda holds you're allowed to do it, and it was Mazik, it says you putter, isn't that a reason to be putter? If he damages, once you're allowed to do it, then you putter. No such thing as you're allowed to do it and you chayiv if it damages. Because over there it says that since you're allowed to do it, you putter by Ner Chanukah. My love, Mishum Mishus best. It doesn't mean that you putter because you're allowed to do it. Lo, Mishum Mishus mitzvah. Not because any rishus, only if it's a mitzvah. Hanukkah is a mitzvah. Over there, if you put your flame, your nair outside Rishus Rabbim and something caught on fire, so then you put it because it's a mitzvah to do it. But that's because you're allowed to do it, doesn't mean that you should be put there. The Tanya Rabbi Yehuda Omer ben Hanukkah potem neishu rishus mitzvah. Rabbi Yehuda himself emphasized the reason why you put is not only because it's rishus, because it's rishus mitzvah. So far, the Gemara is happy to say that you're allowed to do it, but if it damages, you have to pay. Toshma kolelu sha'amru mutarin lekalkel b'shus harabim in miziku chayav l'shalem Rabbi Yehuda poter. Here's Meferish already. Here it says that even though you're allowed to put it mutar, so Tanna Kamma says that you have to pay. You're allowed to do it, but you have to pay. What we just said, but the Rabbi Yehuda doesn't know like that. The Rabbi Yehuda holds poter. If you're allowed to do it, you poter. Not only rishus mitzvah, even stam rishus also that makes you poter. Some Mishnah says that you take out Tevin and Kash if it damages your chayiv is against Rabbi Yehuda because Rabbi Yehuda says that you're poter if you're allowed to do something. If there will be during the time that you're allowed to, then you're allowed to, and you're poter if you damage. The Mishnah is talking about that you're not allowed to because even Rabbi Yehuda only was permitted the Shas Atzas Balam, but when it's not a Shas Atzas Balam, he also holds that you'd be fire because you're not allowed to do it. Rav Ashi Amar Tivno v'Kasho Tanam Yishum the Mishriki that there's a difference between I don't know what else do you put in Rishus Rabbim? Zevel, I'm not sure. It's Zevel Kamma. The most of them Zivlo Shein Noach Lach Lekokach. So the more distinguishes between fertilizer, which means probably the dung, the manure that you're allowed to put into the street, but because it's not so slippery. But hay and straw is very slippery, and even Rabbi holds that you're not allowed to because it's too slippery. So you're not allowed to. So the kitzur, when you're not allowed to do something, everybody holds that you're chayiv. If you're allowed to do something, Tanna Kamma holds you chayiv. If it damages, Rabbi holds that you're poter. I still have this problem that didn't get clarity yet. That our Mishnah says that everyone's allowed to take it. It's hefker. That surely is not like you have to say it's one case that you're not allowed to do. If you're allowed to do it, then you can't say that it's hefker. Everyone's allowed to take it. Okay, to be continued more tomorrow. Yashikov, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.